Most guys think that the girls on Hinge are way more relationship oriented. They're not the types who are just gonna come over for sex. While there's an element of truth to that, you can still absolutely get laid on Hinge if you know what you're doing. In this video, I'm gonna break down exactly how I got this girl from Hinge straight over my place, step by step, and more importantly, why it worked. Because there were a few moments during this interaction where most guys would have completely screwed up. Before we jump into the messages, let me quickly show you the profile I use. So here's my first photo. It's obviously my best one. Then we have my first prompt. The hallmark of a good relationship is communication, great sex. This is known as a truism statement, something that every girl is gonna be like, oh my God, that is so true. Here we have a nice shirtless photo of me, and I think this sets a nice sexual frame. Then we have a photo of me having a drink, along with my next prompt, we'll get along if you don't steal all my hoodies. It's an inside joke amongst girls after they hook up with a guy, they take their sweatshirt, so this kind of shows that you get it. Then we have another photo and my prompt, a shower thought I recently had, you don't even want to know. And this creates a lot of conversations because girls will message you and be like, oh my God, I want to know. And we have another photo of me and a super cute photo of my dog. So notice how this profile creates a very sexual frame without being too explicit, which can risk getting you banned. All right, let's get into it. So open her, hey trouble. She says, me trouble? Never. I say, yes, at least a bit I hope. Because I want her to be trouble. I want her to have a wild side. So that's why I'm sending that text. She says, I suppose you'll find out as we get to know each other. Now, some guys would make the mistake here of rushing the close and being like, yeah, let's get to know each other. What's your schedule like? But you don't want to do that. You want to get the girl to invest before you move things towards the meetup, because otherwise you're just gonna get another flaky number. And you're gonna see a little bit later on how she's gonna actually start pulling away and she's gonna get a little flaky on me, but you're gonna see how I overcome that. So I say, that's my preferred way of finding out. She says, good. So this means that this conversation thread is dead. It's time to move on and switch threads. So I ask her, are you from here originally? And she actually starts investing. She says, I was born in Jersey, moved here when I was 8. Now I live in NYC. I've been blah, 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 blah. And she says, and you're a Russian? I say, cool, I actually moved to Jersey when I was 7 from Russia. That's where I grew up. True story. So now she's asking me questions, which is a good sign. Generally, before you go for the meetup, you want to have the girl at least ask you a few questions because she's not going to be interested anyway. I say 3 years. I was living in LA before that. She's like, nice. Do you like living here? I used to live in Brickell before I moved to New York. What do you really do for a living, Mr. Sexologist? And honestly, I have a bunch of clients who are like engineers who work in tech, and they still put sexologist down as their job. If you want to be honest, you can later tell her on a date it was a joke. But I think it's a really good way to just basically sexualize the conversation. Like, it's really hard not to make it sexual when you have that as your job. And girls are going to ask you. So I say exactly what it sounds like. Help people improve their sex and dating lives. She's like, that's great. A lot of people need it. And COVID really threw a wrench in the dating game. Now it's all about indoor activities. So here I use the we frame where I'm talking about both of us as a unit. I say, I'm sure love will find a way though. And here she kind of pulls away a little bit. She says, to be determined. Now I think the mistake a lot of guys make here is they either just give up, they're like, fuck these bitches, dating doesn't work, or they start chasing too much. But you want to take a middle ground. You want to kind of playfully call her out. And that's what she's doing. She's being coy. So I say, so coy. She says, maybe I'm trouble after all, right? It's kind of a shit test. You can think about it that way. And so she took basically here like 4 or 5 days to respond. So I tease her about it. I say, you thought about that one for a while. Now, again, probably the most common mistake I see is a girl doesn't respond for like 24 hours and guys start freaking out. They're like double and triple texting. They're like, dating doesn't fucking work, man. Look at this shit happens every time, right? That's why you gotta be patient. You gotta be talking to multiple girls so you're not too attached to any one of the girls that you're talking to, right? But because, I don't get needy, right? She eventually messages me. I say, you thought about that one for a while? She's like, had to be sure. And here I want to get a little bit more buy-in from her. So I say, and are you now? She says, I'll let you decide. So that's kind of a green flag to start moving things towards the meetup. I say, I plan on it. Do you like wine? She says, I sure do. I say, good. We should spill a bottle sometime soon. So this is known as the wine close. And generally what you want to do is you want to first soft close, get the girl to agree to the general idea of meeting up with you, which is what I did, before you make plans. The most common mistake I see all the time is guys will be like, do you like wine? The girl will be like, yeah. They'll be like, cool. How does Tuesday at 8 p.m. sound? Don't rush the close, right? There's a reason why you want to kind of small chunk, your closing, because it's going to increase the odds of her ultimately showing up. You want to create almost like a compliance ladder. So she says, absolutely. I say, what's your schedule like? She says, well, I'm going to be in New York this week. I'll be back on Friday or Saturday though. So I say, okay, cool, let's do next weekend then, yes. And here I move things over to text. Some guys make the mistake of just keeping it on the app because they're too worried that if they ask for a phone number, she's gonna say no, right? But you wanna move the girl over text once you have plans, because a lot of things can happen. She can delete the app, your message can get buried in her sea of DMs or whatever. So you wanna move things over text once you have some investment, right? And which is what I do. I message her Alex, winky face, and then I say, make it back to Miami yet? She says, not yet, flight was canceled, so probably tomorrow, Monday. So here I do what I call a feeler text. I'm not really confirming per se, but I'm kind of feeling out. I'm kind of reminding her in a very playful way that we have a date. I say, I'll get the champagne ready, and she says, that happens to be my fave. So I say, then you're in for a treat. She responds, looking forward to it. And again, here I just strategically not respond, right? Because I want to see if she's going to double text, because the more investment I can get from the girl, the more likely she is to show up to the date. That's just how it works, right? Now, the guys make a mistake of trying to do this way too early on before they have any real investment, and then the girl just never actually double texts. But even if she didn't, I was going to message her 2 days later and be like, so, are you back to Miami or what, bitch? So she says, hi, I'm finally back. She double texts me that. I say, welcome back, we should celebrate. So here I'm kind of re-soft closing, and you kind of have to do that because some time has passed. She says, Def, this weekend? I say, yes, say Saturday night. And she says, sure, what do you have in mind? And I say, splitting a bottle of wine on a romantic balcony. Now, another common mistake I see is guys that will have a very platonic profile, they'll have very platonic texting, and then they invite the girl straight over, and the girl's like, no dude, I'm not coming over to have a bottle of wine, your romantic fucking balcony, right? Because the context is not there. So you have to set it up kind of the way I did, where the conversation has to be flirty, and you need to have a somewhat sexual profile for this to work. So she asked me, where would this be? I give her my address, and here's just basically logistics. And then she kind of throws me a curveball. She says, hi, I know we said tomorrow, but are you down with hanging out tonight instead? So this is what I call a now or never situation, because basically what she's saying is, I'm horny, I want to get laid now, and if I don't capitalize on that, what most likely is going to happen is she's going to find some other guy who will, and then I probably won't actually hear from her tomorrow when we have our date, right? So if you can make it happen in these situations, try to make it happen. So here I tell her that I'm a little busy right now with a video, but I'll be free later, so we make plans. She says, see you tonight, be there soon, what's your apartment number? So just logistics, and she comes over, we hook up. She leaves at I think like 2 a.m. or so. Then I text her an hour later, that was 2 fire emojis, and she says, definitely was. And this was not an isolated case. I've had dozens upon dozens of hookups just like this by doing what you saw in this video. And if you're constantly second guessing what to text girls in situations like this, make sure you check out my app, FireText. It's the ultimate AI wingman that helps you with replies, openers, objections, flirting, and literally every possible texting scenario. Just upload a screenshot of your conversation and it'll tell you exactly what to say next. You can try it 100% for free, link in description.